Klaus Kungfu Kitchen. I'm Uncle Klaus and we have another episode for you today. Today I want to talk a little bit about desserts because one of our viewers asked, can we speak about desserts a little bit? And we actually have a very nice dessert in our delivery service on offer. And I would like to show you how to make that today. It's a cake, but you don't have to bake it in the oven. So everybody can make it at home just with the fridge and a couple of tools. And I will not only show you one cake that you don't have to bake in the oven, I will show you 3 cakes in the next couple of episodes. Why? Because I'm such a generous person. The cake I want to show you today is called Kalter Hund. Most Germans will know this cake. It's if you translate it literally from German to English, it would be cold dog. Now that name is a little bit funky. Where does it come from? That cake is quite old. It came around like maybe around 100 years ago, and it was sort of associated with mining activities, like people digging for coals, working in the mine. And do you remember, like, do you know these little lorries from maybe the Indiana Jones movie where he sits in the car and like it drives to the mine? That is called a Hund in German, right? And because the cake looks a little bit similar to these little cars, people started to call it a Kalter Hund. Kalt means cold because it's refrigerated. And the shape looks like that little car, Kalter Hund. And over time, the Hund morphed into Hund, which means dog. So nowadays it's called cold dog. That's the story behind that name. So the cake we're gonna make today is a chocolate fudge cake. Fudge is basically a very thick cream. Right? You can make it with different flavors. We're gonna make it with chocolate and we're gonna layer it with butter biscuits. And I will show you all the ingredients step by step. The most important one, the one that gives the whole cake the flavor, is cocoa powder. Very common in Vietnam, very good cocoa powder available here. Cocoa powder, please don't use like Milo or Nesquik or any like quick hot chocolate powder, because they have added sugar, they have added milk powder, all sorts of things. We don't want that, we want 100% pure cocoa powder. We also have powdered sugar, which it incorporates much easier than regular granulated sugar. This is why we choose the powdered one. Now you can see this looks like rocks. This is actually powdered sugar that are caked up a little bit in the bag. I'm gonna show you what to do about that later. We also have butter biscuits. You can choose any brand that you like. You know, I will not judge you for which brand you choose, up to you. We have coconut oil for a very glossy, smooth, silky texture. We have eggs to give the cake a nice body. And these are like the very traditional German ingredients for this cake, and since I'm not happy with that, I also had to add something on top. I'm going to add a little bit of honey. This gives the cake a nice glossy finish, a little shine, a little extra flavor, a little bit of depth in flavor, and I think it's a super nice addition to this cake. Okay, on to making the cake. I'm going to show you the tools that you need. What you need is a whisk. Very important tool when you make cakes, desserts, all sorts of things, sauces too. You need a spatula, ideally one made out of rubber, like a flexible one. If you use like a wooden spatula, that's very hard. It's difficult to use, like to get into the edges of the bowl. You need a knife. Why, you ask? Patience, I will show you. And you need a little sieve. This is also important. Do you remember the sugar that is kind of crumbly and hard? Now, we use the sieve. So we use the sieve to break up the sugar and to make it really powdery, because that way it will incorporate into the cream much easier. And there you have it, white powdery sugar, straight out of a Disney movie. Now, we take the cocoa powder, add it to a mixing bowl. Like, when you choose a bowl to mix, choose the biggest bowl that you have, you know, because every time you try to mix something in a bowl, the bowl will turn out smaller than you think it is, you know? So choose a nice large one that has space for all the ingredients. Like a bowl like this, it would maybe technically work, but during the mixing progress you will get in trouble because the stuff will spill over, it'll be very inconvenient. So choose a nice big bowl. In with the cocoa powder. In with the sugar. And now for the eggs. You've probably seen when people like have the bowl, take the egg, crack it on the side, open it with one hand. Looks super cool. Unfortunately, it's very easy that you get the eggshell inside of your cream, and this is why you don't want them at all, right? This is why I'm going to show you a little different method to open the eggs. We take a knife, you know, you remember the knife. We crack it a little bit like this, and then we open it. In it goes, eggshell free, fantastic. Now we're gonna mix this together. We break up the egg yolks first with our whisk, then we start to mix it in. And at the same time slowly pour in our coconut oil. And you see like the different elements are still kind of separate. It's kind of soupy. But the more we add the oil and the more we stir with our whisk, the more the whole cream is going to come together. Mix it around good and well. And this requires a little bit of wrist strength. And then you start to see, when you start to see that the whole thing is kind of beginning to move like a whole mass, a little bit like a UFO, then you know, okay, this is the consistency that we want. And now you can see it's already starting to look a little bit like a cream. And now is the time to add a little bit of honey, just a little drop.
Yummy.
That's enough. You don't want to go overboard with the honey because it's very sweet. And we don't want to make the cake overly sweet, right? And now when you mix it in, you can see it gives the surface of the fudge a little bit of extra shine. We get rid of all the excess fudge. And that's the cream when it's done. Now, you could eat this right away with a spoon if you want. I'm not judging you because I feel very tempted myself. But what we're gonna do is we'll lay it with the butter biscuits and then we're gonna put it to the fridge. In order to do that, we will take our form and we will layer it with tin foil. Now, this part is a little bit tricky because if we press it down just like that, it will create a lot of cracks and the surface of the cake will not be super smooth and even. This is why we will cut the side. To make sure it goes in more easily. This is a little bit of a patience game, you know. So if it's not 100% smooth, if it's not 100% even, don't feel guilty. It's a little bit of a practice issue too. And then we smoothen out the inside as much as we can. And now we see, okay, so here and there are some spaces that are not covered. In that case, we just add a little bit of extra tin foil. And if you think now, oh my God, this is not even at all and it looks very, very craggly, don't worry, we have a very nice method of making the surface of the cake really beautiful, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. And there you have it. Now we're gonna layer in the cream, the fudge, and then we're gonna layer in the butter biscuits, just like so. We just take a nice big scoop, put it into our form, and then spread it out. Just make sure that the bottom is evenly covered, maybe add a little bit more. And I kind of like the layers a little bit thicker, so it's up to your personal taste, of course, but I like it quite thick and rich. There you have the nice layer of fudge cream, and now we put in the cookies one by one, and here's the important part: top side down, like with the writing, top side down. For aesthetic reasons mostly. Like this. And now we keep going. One more layer of fudge. And as you can see, like sometimes the tin foil moves around a bit, but the more layers you have in, like the more easy it's gonna be. Sometimes your form is too big for the amount of cookies, so you cannot fit a whole cookie in here, but that's the reason why these cookies have these little cuts, so you can break them easily and fill up your cracks. Now this doesn't look too pretty right now, but later in the cake you will not notice it at all. And then we finish with our one last layer of fudge. Bloop. And now the hard part is done. Now we just have to put it into the fridge and wait about 1 hour, 1.5 hours until everything is set.
A few moments later.
Okay, so the cake has been resting in the fridge for 1 hour, 1 hour 30. Should be nice and firm by now. Let's take it out. There you go, looks like pure chocolate. Okay, so we're gonna put the cake upside down on a plate where we want to serve it. And as you can see, thanks to the aluminum foil, it comes off quite easily. Take the foil off. Sometimes some bits and pieces of the foil get stuck to the cake. You know, just be sure to remove them. Otherwise you're gonna have a tiny little surprise while you enjoy your cake. Feels a little bit like Christmas. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Now you might think, oh God, Klaus, this doesn't look beautiful. Don't worry, we have a way to fix that. And I wanted to show that to you guys, how to make a cake beautiful, even if it has some cracks. One wonderful chunk of chocolate cake. Now you say this cake is not pretty, so Uncle Klaus to the rescue. We take some cocoa powder, the same that we used to make the cake. Put it into our sieve. And now we dust top of the cake. Dust the sides a little bit. And make sure we hide all the little nooks that come from the tin foil. So there you have your cake. Of course you can like take it off and put it on a nicer plate or like a board, decorate it a little bit. And I'm pretty sure whoever you want to be impressed with this, they will be very impressed. Now, just to show you how it looks from the inside, let's take off a little slice. And there you go. Isn't that beautiful, huh? So you can see the layers are fairly even. The fudge is rich, thick. Looks delicious. So only one thing left to do. Let's try a bite. That's so good. It's basically pure chocolate. You have the crunchy biscuits in the middle with some buttery flavor. I swear to God, the only thing that is difficult about this cake, I really have to restrain myself not to eat the whole thing by myself. And I'm pretty sure you will enjoy this cake a lot when you try it at home. Yeah, please let me know how your results are. Maybe you have some additions by yourself, like some creative decoration, or you added some stuff that you want me to know about. Please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching this episode. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And never forget, Uncle Klaus loves you.